Hi, welcome to my Grow the Green presentation. Thank you for your time. By the end of our time together, we will know how to grow the green. To grow the green, we have to develop a compassionate understanding for the other color states that we will learn about today. This in-service serves as an opportunity to share something I've learned while working on the clinical ladder. I hope that you'll find this information as an opportunity to learn more about the peer support program offered by the Wisdom and Wellbeing training. I would like to thank the Wisdom and Wellbeing team for their training material, and they are a great resource and are looking forward to anyone else who is interested in getting involved. This information presented today has the potential to change your perspective. So keep an open mind as I share with you a few key takeaways. There's a lot of content here, however, so pay attention to buzzwords like stress injury, Oscar, and ways that you can grow the green. Have you ever wondered why in the thick of things, us humans are prone to complaining rather than being thankful? Who wants to say thank you when they are stressed? I know not me. It seems like we all get it, that stress causes our frustrations to surface. One minute we are coasting like the breeze by the ocean, and then the next minute a storm of tension floods us as we are attempting to react to work, the growing schedule, add-ons, procedures, and are even getting triggered by words, tones, and facial expressions. Stress is inevitable, and understanding the psychology of the way it affects us will help us have a more compassionate, have more compassion for ourselves and others when stress arises and behaviors are abnormal. Being able to acknowledge when you are stressed or when a peer is stressed is the most important step in reducing stress in your life or environment. The second important step is doing something green about it to activate recovery. The stress continuum is a peer support tool used to help us not only understand the effects of stress injury, but what will happen if we don't heal our stress. The prefrontal cortex is the thinking part of our brain, producing executive decision, which helps us make choices and green behaviors. The frontal cortex gathers information from our senses and operates on a selectively conscious level. This part of the brain tells us when something is not a good idea, or maybe you've had too much to drink. Psychologists agree that at best we are only 15 to 20% of our consciousness are conscious with our behaviors. This means that even when we think we're being rational, logic, and conscious, we're largely being driven subconsciously by previous similar experiences and emotions. Okay, let's dive a little deeper into the understanding of the psychology of stress. Our brain is our playground to creating the world we want, as long as the wizard has control of his lizard. During stress injury, the amygdala has a way of turning off the prefrontal cortex. This triggers a trauma response, and this is when the way we react is toxic, or we may be displaying orange zone signs, and we will respond out of control, dysfunctionally, symptomatically, and or hurt ourselves or others. Under work situations, this may appear less overtly and may appear as silence, repression, distracted, overeating, staying busy, shutting down, people pleasing, or possibly rage. If you realize your lizard is not in wizard mode, you are practicing self-awareness. Awareness is the hardest step. However, it's much easier to recognize when Jesse's lizard has been uncaged. And this is why the peer support program works. We wizard lizards need each other to help one another stay cloaked with happiness, feeling safe, loved. Well, you get the point. Now that we understand stress management takes a village, let's dive deeper into peer support knowledge. The stress continuum is a great tool used to help identify when a reaction is showing symptoms of a stress injury. As the chart concludes, we are transitioning routinely between green and yellow situations. As we grow our green, we grow our resilience for yellow or triggering situations. However, with a higher than normal accumulation of yellow situations, we might end up in the orange zone and need recovery when our resilience is low. Let's dive deeper into understanding how to identify stress injuries or common causes of being in the orange zone. Note, pre-COVID research suggests that 35% of us are currently dealing with a stress injury. Because our wizard brain is turned off and the lizard brain is on the loose, we may have decreased awareness to our behavior. This is why peer support training takes a village and commitment from everyone to utilize the stress first aid model, because no one wants a peer or a friend to suffer in the orange zone alone. Isolation is a bridge to the red zone. As you can see from the situations, it doesn't take much to end up in the orange zone, and that is why it's important that we all have someone we can turn to with peer support training. Stress enables toxic tendencies. It's important to take it seriously when we see a peer struggling or acting differently. Once a person gets into the orange zone, it's usually caused by accumulation of different types of stressors or a pretty severe stressor. Time is everything, and response is needed to counter the accumulation of stressors. Peers can prevent peers from progressing to the red zone. The red zone is usually reserved for diagnoses like PTSD, depression, anxiety, and substance abuse. What signifies a person being in the red zone is that their symptoms are very persistent or worsening over time, or the person experiences severe distress and has significant difficulty functioning at work or in the home. There is hope for those experiencing the red zone. I highly recommend FEEP. If you're currently experiencing a stress injury, you're not alone. I often experience my own reptile brain run off or notice my frontal cortex shut down. A major stress event happened for me in summer 2021 over inner conflict with an ex's moral compass. I was on the verge of losing all trust in humanity. Luckily, I was transparent and spoke with my supervisor about what I was dealing with, and she encouraged me to seek a therapist through FEEP. I did as she said, as I figured if I did go from the orange zone to the red zone, at least I had tried something before I lost my mind. Fortunately, FEEP's therapy was super helpful, and I had free. And I'm thankful I told someone, and that they were able to give me a resource for dealing with my stress injury. If you or you know a coworker who is going through a stress injury and don't know what you should do, I highly recommend FEEP for free counseling. It's really easy to sign up, and you can do a Zoom meeting with a therapist. I think my therapy went on for at least 3 months. I mean, it was a lot of help. I highly suggest everyone armor yourself with peer support training so we can lean on each other in times of need. Now, I hope I haven't lost anyone, because we are now transitioning to how. I took a lot of time to make sure we know why. Stress, that's why. But did you know that the peer support program was developed by and for the military? This program was developed for men and women to help one another deal with stress. Our reactions to one another and how we handle stress are the clues to which color zone we are currently in. The first aid teaches us how to respond. For a full course on the stress first aid model, you will need to sign up for the peer support training, which I believe the next time starts in July. So by the end of this month, maybe we could have more than just Sandra and I involved in the peer support training, and that would be awesome. The stress first aid model was designed to help people move themselves and their peers from the red and orange zone back into the yellow or green zones. By using the stress first aid model, we have the ability to recognize early signs of stress injury and how to provide primary and secondary stress aid. You probably already do these things. They are meant to come natural. And sometimes when you are in the early stages of a stress injury, we might not realize we are behaving from the stress injury. So it's important to realize that at first, the person you are trying to help might respond out of their lizard brain to your aid, but give it time for their wizard brain to process your aid, and they will come back to you in a week and let you know they are thankful for your efforts to reach out to them. For the first of the 7 C's is check. Using the Oscar method, we can all check and assess for signs of stress injury in our peers. This is the only thing I'll be going over today regarding the 7 C's. So I don't want to flood you with as much as we had to go through. It was 5 hours of training that I'm condensing into key points in 20 minutes. Oscar is a mnemonic peer support guideline used to facilitate the awareness and action of recognizing stress injury in our peers and provide us with coverage and confidence to assess and respond. O is for observe, actively observe behaviors, look for patterns or change that are consistent with stress injury signs. S is for state observations, using words that reflect on the behaviors you have seen, not attitudes or your thoughts, just state what you have seen. C for clarify role. In our professions, we are required to adhere to a code of conduct and have role-bound expectations. Peers, supervisors, trainers, spouses, parents, friends are bound by the roles we share with each other. There are times when we have more than one role with coworkers. You and they need to understand where you are coming from. A is for ask why. The A in Oscar does not stand for assume. Seek clarification. Be curious. Try to understand the other person's perception of the behaviors you've observed. For an excellent way to ask why is to start with, help me understand. R for respond. Telling someone that what they should do or giving an unrequested advice rarely works. Instead, provide guided options. Do you want to talk to FEEP? Do you want to talk to your supervisor? Clarifying your concern if necessary. The idea is that we want our peer in distress to be aware of or reminded of support resources and other options. Stress injuries heal best when resources are available. Okay, peers, now we understand stress injury. We know how to observe for signs of injury, and we know how to check in with ourselves and others to help our colleagues talk about accumulating stressors. But how do we recover or grow the green? Let's check out a simple chart that you can use to check in with yourself daily. All right, so as you can see, using this chart, you're able to predict your state, your color state, based on 2 habits, self-care and level of concern for others and the environment. If I could get this little thing we'll just put it down here. All right. So if you are, as we all are at work, caring for others for numerous hours of the week and not taking care of yourself or have unhealthy self-care, you're probably feeling burnt out, drained, fatigued, stressed, stuck in a rut. And this is definitely a reason to get some support care if you're having trouble with self-care. Number two is, what if it's the opposite and you are taking care of yourself, but you don't care about people or the environment? You're experiencing compassion fatigue. You might be feeling isolated, unbalanced, unmotivated. Definitely peer support is needed, or a resource if you're having trouble with compassion fatigue. The other option for unhealthy scenarios is if you are not taking care of yourself or have unhealthy self-care vices and you don't care about people or your environment, you're probably in the red zone, depending on how long you've been experiencing those symptoms. And you're potentially experiencing a mental illness or in the recipe for one. Peer support is definitely needed. And if you know somebody that's in this scenario, please don't hesitate to have an Oscar communication situation with them. But I feel like for most of us, we're most likely going to be toggling between these two scenarios because we are in healthcare. We do care about helping others. And I know a lot of us care about the environment. And so therefore, it's really going to be about self-care. So if you're feeling burnt out, you definitely need to take a vacation, give yourself some time to grow the green. So if you aren't in any of these stressor color zones, then you have a balance of self-care and caring for others. And you are experiencing positive well-being, happiness, hope, peace, feeling supported by the people around you and society. So how do we recover to the green zone or maintain a green zone with visits to the yellow that return to the green? Overcoming obstacles and growing your green takes courage and support. But remember, we are all interconnected and we will never stay in the green if we don't help each other return to the green. The peer support program is an open invitation from UVA to help one another grow the green. Don't wait till you are burnt out to fuel yourself. And don't wait till you feel good enough or in the green to help others. Let's start today with practicing more green growers by using the method. Prioritize just 2 minutes a day to consciously grow a green routine. The method is a simple, quick way to start practicing a daily grow the green habit. Call it what you want. Miracle minute, mindful minute, magic minute. Get creative so you can marvel at the world. In just 2 1-minute moments, you can take some time to consciously do something good for someone else and consciously do something healthy for yourself. A great example of growing the green for someone else could be just as simple as asking them, is there anything I can help you with right now? An moment for yourself might be a minute of gratitude where you think of as many things as you can that you're thankful for. Taking care of yourself means putting on your mask first so you can take care of others around you and them yourself and others. When you pay attention to those magical moments, we seem to get each other, and together we grow the green. By using the Oscar communication tool, the method, and check-ins with yourself and others, You're making a conscious effort to grow the green and cultivating recovery from reaction and preventing a stress injury. Here are some great websites to visit. I highly recommend you check these out. You will find classes, trainings, support, good people, resources at each of them. The tiny URL that I created will redirect you to a YouTube video. It's the orientation of video. It's an hour long for the peer support training. And you get one CME if you watch it. You'll have to obviously get in contact with them for that. However, if you are just curious and want to learn more, then easily you can see this video on more detail about this subject. I appreciate your time. Please go to the link in the YouTube description. Anyone who signs the form of attendance will receive a Grow Your Green gift from me for the next 2 weeks up to like the 15th. So thank you so much.